Good morning. It's an overcast, rainy, drizzly, cold morning. But it's a good day. You know, they're all good days. Some are just more fun than others. I'm gonna go for a walk here, and you're welcome to join me for a walk in the woods. Walking past this hawthorn tree, couldn't help but notice the raindrops clinging to the thorns. Isn't that beautiful? I've been contemplating the 23rd Psalm. You probably know it. We all heard it many times. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lay down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters, and he restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. You know, I think about that, about David, a shepherd, one who tended sheep, then became a king, a man that the Bible refers to as a man after God's own heart. Man of many ups and downs in life, running from a king he loved, hiding for his life, trouble in his families, moral failure. He's a really relatable guy. When I hear that psalm, I love how it starts. The Lord, he's my shepherd. I mean, you got a shepherd, but my shepherd, he's the Lord. I'm a big fan of my shepherd. I mean, I got the best shepherd ever. My shepherd, he's the Lord. I mean, he's the Lord. He makes me lie down in green pastures. You know, sometimes we don't like to lay down. I hurt my back moving some wood here in the woods the other day. Slowed me down quite a bit. Life's moving a little slower for all of us. But the concept here, I think, is also that not only do we need some rest, but he knows where the good stuff is. You see this patch of green? This is some of the field. Here it's planted in kind of a pasture mix for the wildlife. This area died out. Maybe insects. I'm not quite sure. So I replanted it. And in that mix, some clover. And just about every night, deer will visit it. Especially this time of year where they're moving out from their winter habitat, their winter home range, where they've hunkered down and just been eating on, you know, twigs and acorns. They're spreading out a little bit. Doe will find a place to raise their fawns. But the shepherd knows. And that's the kind of shepherd that the psalmist is talking about, that He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. You know, I've heard it said that sheep wouldn't do well in moving current. They don't drink well from that. It's not always even safe for them. So he brings them to still waters. He knows when we need to be fed. He knows what we need. He knows where it is. Not just what we need, but where it is. He restores our soul. You know, there's a lot of times that I'm down and discouraged, and I look for people to encourage me. I want the church to encourage me. I want my family to encourage me. I want my friends to encourage me. Oftentimes I just I guess we disrupted their day. They'll be back. But I love what the psalmist says. He restores my soul. I need to get someplace where I sense his presence. I hear his voice. I need to be in his words. Jesus promised us that the Spirit would come and bring to remembrance all the things that he told us. But how can he remember something that we haven't remembered in the first place? So we need to read it and be in his word. And it seems like when we need it, if we're listening, sometimes when we're not, we'll receive just what we need. You know, he says he leads us in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Seems like this sheep knew it was more than about him. I mean, his shepherd has a mission. His shepherd has a standard. And that's what it's about. It's funny, we live in 4-H land. That's the kids that have the fairs and they bring their animals, their livestock. It's a wonderful part of the area in which we live, and you know, you might see a sheep, a lamb there, and the sheep are there for the purpose of being shown, and we all want to be that prize sheep. But sheep are there for food, for wool, heaven forbid sacrifice. Sheep are there to be prized, maybe even for company. But the shepherd's on a mission. For his name's sake. You know, he's referred to as my shepherd. It's very intimate. My shepherd. You know, I'm thinking about being in the Holy Land and being fortunate to be near Bethlehem and being in Shepherd's Fields on the hill there. And we heard about how the shepherds would get together in the evenings at night, put the sheep together, watch the sheep, maybe take turns. In the morning, they'd get up and they'd call their sheep. Jesus said, I'm the good shepherd. My sheep know my name. They know my voice. I think it's that kind of, you know, I wonder, is that kind of close relationship with the shepherd that allows for the next statement. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I have nothing to fear. I find comfort in your rod and your staff. Wow. I don't know about you, but I remember rods and staffs as I was a kid. They didn't always bring me comfort. I was more on the corrective action side of things. But I know if one of my children were threatened and I had a rod or a staff, I'd figure out how to use it to take care of them, and I think they'd find comfort in that. It says you anoint my head with oil. You know, oftentimes oil was used as a medicine for the deer. It's this concept that not just being honored, but being looked after. You prepare a place for me, a table for me, even when my enemies are looking on. That's pretty cool. How many times did we not get what we deserved, especially when people around us were waiting for us to get what was coming to us, and instead God has been merciful and gracious. I know He has to me. My cup overflows. This little burrow. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. Not did, not in the future, but all the days of my life. It's not a promise of everything going well. We got the valley of the shadow. It's a promise that God is with us. And in the end, we dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemy, and my cup, it overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell, live with you in your house for eternity. The Lord is your shepherd.